YT viewer, indeed, the Oompa Loompas. And, oh, they've walked. Is it them? Looks like them, but it might not be the full pride. Morning, morning. But there's the little boy. We'll do a head count shortly. But it does look to be the Nkuhumas. And not very far away from where we saw the Talamati females a few days ago. So there is absolute pandemonium in the lion dynamics at the moment with the movements, with the new males coming in. And a big pile of lions. Can't see if they're too hungry or not just yet, but it looks like they are enjoying a bit of morning sunshine. I'm just going to try and move around the other side of tax so we can try to do a proper count of how many Oompa Loompas there are. Okay, well, it seems like Saturday is living up to its name, so let's send you back to Tingana. Well, be careful, James. Be careful. They're very fast moving, those ticks. Now, something that's not very fast moving at the moment is the Nkuhuma Pride. As you can see, they are in a lovely cat pile. Now, it is due to the cold weather. You will notice in the mornings that lions will often lie closer to each other and try eke out some body warmth from each other. However, depending on the situation, it's not uncommon to find lions lying on top of each other, but they do seem to form tighter little bundles during the winter months. I'm just trying to remember, Heidi, when was this male born? He probably was he 2000 and what year are we in, Vim? 18.
Yeah, I think.
So he would be 2016. So probably just around. I'm trying to remember when they were all born. About 2 years old, just over 2 years old. There we go. Now, for those of you who've been watching for a while, you might remember Junior of the Nkuhumas. There we go. So he's just under 2 years old, June 2016. So that's when he was born. Now, you might remember Junior of the Nkuhumas. Now, Junior was very similar to this poor young chap, the only male amongst a whole bunch of ladies. And he happened to be sort of closer to 3 years old when the Birmingham boys came in. And because of the fact that there was a pride changeover, he actually spent more time with his moms and his sisters and his cousins and his aunties than he would have if there'd been a stable coalition in charge. So because of the turmoil with new males taking over, that Junior was able to spend more time with the pride. And we might be looking at a similar situation now, unless, of course, he gets caught by the evokers. Okay, he's caught something on the air, having a good sniff. A sniff and a snooze at the same time. So I must admit, I'm quite happy to be with the lions, doing the exact same thing, basking in the sun. It's been chilly this morning. Now, I did get a head count a little bit earlier, and it does look like all 11 are present, although it is always difficult to discern each individual lion when they're in a puddle like this. Bab, we don't have any tracking devices on any of the lion prides in the area. We do it the old-fashioned way. We follow their footprints. Now, there's various different reasons to put tracking devices on animals, and in the Sabi signs it's not really necessary, as we are able to find them by tracking them on foot or in the vehicles quite easily, and there's no current well, there are current research projects going on, but none of them need radio collars. Now, one must realize that radio collars are a bit of a double-edged sword. Yes, they produce incredible data and whatnot, but each time you anesthetize an animal, there is always a risk that they won't wake up, particularly with the older individuals. Although the latest tracking collars have come on in leaps and bounds in terms of they have a timer that pops off when the battery gets to a certain point. But one of the biggest threats, especially if you collar younger animals, is the fact that they grow quite quickly. And if you don't have those release collars that either release when the battery gets low or when there's a certain amount of pressure put on the collar, you can actually hurt the animals. So in an area like this, where it's not necessary to collar the animals to keep following them, we are able to follow them most of the time without losing them. We do lose them for a day or two, but that can also happen when they've got collars. Oh, here we go. Are you getting a bit hot? Oh dear, they are hungry. So I couldn't see whether they were hungry or not, but they are indeed very hungry. There we go. She's got a bit warm, heading towards the shade. Slowly over the morning, I think we'll see most of the lions migrate to go lie on top of her in that tiny bit of shade. And you can always tell where lion pride has been because of how flattened the grass is, and there's almost no gap between where the lion's been lying because of how flat the grass is. But we're going to sit here with the incredible Nkuhumas and send you across to James, who's got something minute on a plant. Down like this and popped out on Mamba at the Moati. They went onto Elephant Carcass and then cut through the block to Weaver's Nest, then changed their mind, thankfully for us, and went through here, popped out again at Philemon's Dip, and we're now just off Rebecca's Road here. Oh, Amber's up. One of the others going to do. See, they are a bit nervy at the moment. Every time someone stands up, a few heads come up. And so slowly but surely they are going to move into the shade. Is this the next one? Heading for the shade. For me, this morning's felt like the first real proper winter morning, real bite in the air. And the sounds and the smells definitely leaning more towards winter and the end of summer. And it's amazing how quickly the bush has changed. Now, as a general rule, winter is far more of an easier time for the lions in particular, as the buff herds are back around and losing condition after the long summer. They've been picking up condition, eating all the lovely green grass, but as you get deeper and deeper into the dry season, the quality of the food the buffalo are eating is not as good. But that makes the buffalo a little bit easier for the lions to catch. We're going to stick it out with our lovely Nkuhumas, and let's go see. Well, only 1, 2, 3, 4 left in the original pile. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
The cloud cover where Brent and the Nkuhumas are. Let's go.
Well, only 1, 2, 3, 4 left in the original pile, and with one contemplating getting up at the moment. Now, as you can see, they're very skinny, but lions do digest their meat very fast, Chilean. So they've got a very fast digestive system, and so it enables them to eat and get rid of the meat in a very, very quick... Oh, it's trying to bite flies. It gets you on the nose. Something got you on the nose. So it's just because they've got a very fast digestive system. High protein diets. Oof, battling with the hohos. And they're not really under threat at the moment. Now, they are thin, but they're by no means in starvation mode just yet, white lady Avon, so it shouldn't hamper their hunting at the moment. I think they'd be pretty keen to hunt, and actually probably more focused on hunting at the moment while being hungry. So I don't think it would affect their hunting at all. But they would love to find a nice herd of buffalo. Now, as I was saying, a nice plump buffalo calf, that would do it. Feed them all very well for a couple of days, providing that it wasn't robbed by the evokers. But yes, a large kudu would feed them, but they wouldn't all be full. But they would definitely be in a bit of a better state than this. But a buffalo, a giraffe, hippo, any of those really big animals would do quite well for the pride at the moment. But the Nkuhumas are buffalo specialists, still battling with something that keeps nipping her. It'd be funny if she bites it and it stings her on the tongue. Now, Ryan, all lions use cooperative hunting techniques, but I wouldn't say they herd animals. They use a lot of non-verbal communication, visual communication, cues by body language and ear flicks and tails to sort out their hunts on who must go where. But they don't herd animals at all, but they do cooperative hunting. That is what makes them so successful. And being cooperative hunters, they're able to take down much bigger prey than if they were just by themselves. Now, what we've got to remember that these are wild animals, and sometimes we do get very attached to them and wouldn't think they would do horrible things. But white lady Aowen, yes, lions would cannibalize each other in times of stress. Lionesses have been recorded eating their small cubs rather than trying to hunt enough and produce enough milk to keep all alive. Survival is the most important. Now, they wouldn't actively go out and hunt a member of the pride, but if the member of the pride got killed by another lion or by a buffalo during a hunt, then they would indeed cannibalize if they were desperate enough. It doesn't happen all the time, but male lions are far more regular cannibals of other lions than the lionesses. But lionesses have been recorded eating their own cubs in times of strife. Oh, well, I think the ones out in the sun have a bit of a gap, or a little bit longer to lie there, because the sun has disappeared behind this cloud that's creeping in from the north, big cloud bank. But now we're going to keep sitting with the Nkuhumas. I'm loving sitting here. I haven't seen them properly in quite a while. And in the meantime, I'll send you across to James and something you definitely don't want to find in your shorts. Well, it seems like Steve's found some gremlins. We're still sitting here with our incredible Nkuhumas. And they have spread out and are sleeping heavily. But they are hungry, and it's a cool day ahead. So they could get moving early this afternoon. And I think for the most, they're going to snooze away the rest of the day. I was going to move around. Let's try to see where the others went. So some of them have moved off behind this beautiful dead knobthorn. So there's a pile that's just moved behind. Now, one of the lions in that little pile there is the little boy. Mishman is wondering, will the females kick out the sub-adult male? They will get stroppy with him, but you must remember, by that stage of 3 years old, he is bigger than them already and stronger than them. So it can be quite difficult for the females to get rid of him, and sometimes they'll just try to run away. But that's why normally those young males are pushed out by the dominant coalition. And as I say, with the current line dynamics, he might get lucky. He might be able to stay with his natal pride for a little bit longer than he would have if the Birminghams were around constantly. What happens is there's always the risk that he might mate with his sisters or his mom if he does spend too much time with the pride, or his aunts or his cousins. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world that lions can inbreed without too much negative effect, but if it continues for a couple of generations, of course, then it can become problematic. So now, since we're sitting next to the incredible Nkuhumas, and they're a bit flat at the moment, I think it's time for a lion quiz. So, okay. What country in Africa recently discovered an unknown population, and healthy population of lions? Hashtag Safari Live if you know the answer. What country in Africa recently discovered an unknown but healthy population of lions? So, while the lions are sleeping, we can still chat about them. It's nice to see them. Very tired kitties. Now, of course, they can go from very flat to up and about in a second. There's that lovely dead knobthorn tree I was telling you about. Now, what makes the lion population I was talking about in my quiz so spectacular, because there are very, very few unknown lion populations in the world. Everyone has a relatively good idea about where lions are. Oh, Ethiopia. Well done, Heidi, who got that spot on. It is Ethiopia in the Alatash National Park. And they suspected there might be lions, but they'd never been recorded there. And a nice, healthy population of of lions was found in that area. So it's quite exciting news. Now, of course, there's a lot of reasons why they possibly haven't been seen. That area is on the border of Sudan, and there's been a lot of turmoil there over the years with civil wars and stuff like that. So it's been a no-go area for a lot of people for many, many years. So that's the reason why that population probably wasn't well known. And it's the Central African lion subspecies, which is one of the more threatened of our lion subspecies. And they estimate the population to be between 100 and 200 lions between Ethiopia and Sudan. So it is a significant number of lions to have not really been known about for an extended period. Well, I think I will spend a little bit more time with our flat cats here. In the meantime, Steve's got something that tries to avoid all forms of cat. Well, I don't think you can get pretty much more flat than our Nkuhumas are at the moment. So I think Vim and I are going to move off shortly. We're going to go check the western boundary, see if we can see any sign of Shidulu, because I don't think there's going to be any movement from these lions. They've walked a long way, probably about 15 kilometers overnight. Now, all big cats are opportunists, Juanita, so if something happened to stumble into them while they were sleeping like this, such as buffalo or that herd of kudu, they would definitely, possibly try a hunt. But other than that, I think they're probably going to get moving this afternoon and hunt into the night tonight. So I think this afternoon it would be a very good spot to become this afternoon sunset safari. So I'm pretty sure these lions are going to get up and on the move and on the hunt tonight. Okay, sleepy kitties, you have a good day now. We're going to go see what else we can find. So, quite interestingly, unlike male lion coalitions next, which have a very distinct hierarchy, even though it's constantly changing depending on who's been hurt, who's the most full, who's the most angry. So the male lion hierarchy changes quite a bit. There is not a set hierarchy between the lionesses. So there isn't a set hierarchy between the girls. So they are a cohesive unit for the most part. Between them, of course, but those are normally sorted out quite quickly with a bit of loving and aloe grooming between the pride.